And we're live. Cool. How loud is that? Is that okay? Yeah, I think we're alright. Alright, don't click that button, obviously. Aha! Welcome to a little bit of research that I'm doing. Yeah. 23rd of the 1st. Hold on a minute. '16th. So it started on the 16th of January, this research. And we've just got to get you out of the chat box there. That helps. And we're on the 24th. So just over a week. And what I'm looking at is event systems. And there's a big reason why. Let's have a look, first of all, at why I'm doing it. And it comes from a little system known as Qt. Should we try the assistant? What does the assistant give us? Oh, right, yeah. Here we go. So, Qt. And we want events. So can we do a search for events? Right, so there's event classes, mouse events, the event system. Right. So this is something which I wanted to use and do. And the problem is I was denied publication rights if I use the free software. So we have events. We have Resize event, paint event, mouse event, key event, close event, Resize event, yeah. Notify, handlers, filters. I haven't thought about filters. Sending events, post event, and queue event user. Interesting stuff. But the thing is, it's useful stuff. So if we have a look at their class, I mean, look at all of this. We've got timers, child events, drag and drops, files, opening, keyboard, mouse, movement, scrolling, timer, touch screens, clicked, 4 buttons, and Windows state change. So there's a lot of events that you can use in Qt. That's interesting, because I wouldn't mind some of these events. I don't know what list I've pulled together so far, but you can see what I'm missing. Events are the heartbeat to any game engine, and I was asked the other day whether what game am I creating, and I thought, well, I've written one in C, but what about C++? And what would happen if I were to transfer into C++? Then I would be able to do all of this kind of thing with events and callbacks and wonderful little things, bits and pieces. So Yeah, I thought I'd take a look at it. So I have written, or attempted to write, an event system. Now we need to find out whether it works. So we're going to do that. But there's something in the back of my mind saying, what events can I get from the operating system? Because that's where they come from. Overall, unless you design your own, within a system, that is. Like for button click, a button click event type of thing. All of that kind of stuff is available to you as an event system writer. And from what I've seen, or what I've been researching anyway, there's plenty of different types of events systems that you can try out. I've gone for something quite simple, obviously, because I'm a simple person. So let's have a look at the program that we've written. It's on GitHub at avengers/amber.git. So let's control click. Here it is. It's a sandbox and engine I've put together. The sandbox is an empty C++ project, and Amber Engine was an empty static library project. Which gave me PCH, precompiled headers. I don't know why they give you precompiled headers here and not here. How weird. How you set it up is quite easy. You download this from Git in any way, which shape or form you want to do it. Through Visual Studio is usually quite helpful. So if I were to project repository file, well, it's on the initial thing, isn't it? So if you look on Visual Studio, clone a repository, top one. And yes, I have changed my Visual Studio to look like it does, because I think it's a bit of a joke, so I put the Comic. Yes, I'm using Comic Sans. Amber Skies. Why did it not go back to the top? Not now, please. Why is there a gap? No, I'll leave a gap, I don't care. Messes this up a bit. There we go. That one. Yeah. I haven't looked at these. Are these mine? I've got 21 warnings. Format inl.h. That's not mine. Format.h. That's not mine. We're down to 11 warnings now. So what's this warning? Use of a moved from object. User characters. Lifetime 1. I would have thought standard move did a mem copy, but obviously it doesn't, and the header file writers didn't know that. Sorry, header file writers, but I'm not changing your code. Oh, there you go, back up to 21 warnings. I think we'll switch those off. Right, so Sandbox app, here we are. The application's quite simple. It's a class, Sandbox, public, application. Amber application you'll see is in here. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. And down here we just create an application, a new sandbox. How does that work? Well, create an application yeah, that's okay. We'll use application, create application, which is defined in the client. That's the definition, that's the declaration. The application consists of a constructor, a destructor, and a run method. Yeah, I told you this was complicated, didn't I? CPP, the application does nothing, the destructor does nothing. The run method just carries on running infinitely with just standard while true. There's nothing being done. So that's your application. And we have also included some logging. So log, which is speed log. You might notice hash include common is usually in every file that I ever have. So this is a class log. It's static shared pointers for a speed logger, and we've got amber logger for the static library side, and we've got dev logger for the sandbox side. We initialize them, and everything else is inline static for the getters. So that gets your logger, that gets your dev logger, so you can do it. So I've been playing around with this. In the CPP file, we define our private members, and void log initialize just sets the pattern and then standard colors and levels. SPD log. Can be found on the web, SPD log. It's also part of the so GitHub. There you go, there's SPD log. Now, I didn't do that, I just copied the HTTPS thingy here. And I was very, very clever. Not. In the shell, the developer shell, here I just put git submodule add, then that's HTTP, and then where I wanted to add it, which was in dependencies, speedlog. There it all is. Pretty, huh? Which gave me, of course, an extra bit. Does it show that in the GitHub? It should do, really. Don't know what it'll show it as. So under Amber, Amber Engine, doesn't show it. Okay, well, I tried. That's wrong. No, I want amber skies. That's because it's a wrong thingy. Whoops. That might help. Amber skies, there we go. Nope. Application, main entry point, which we're going to talk about next. Because if you've noticed, there's no main. Because it's hidden. I found that a bit weird. I bet I'd add a README file to that. Okay. It should be here, but it isn't. Oh well. Lovely. I'm just wondering whether it will download it or not. Git attributes, git ignore, but there's a file missing. That's dodgy. I'm going to look into that. Alright. So we've looked at application. That's done. Application.h helps if we have the right repository for you. Otherwise it won't do anything. We've looked at the logging and how to initialize it. So that sets a pattern up there with the time, the logger that you've used, either the Amber one or the Dev one, and the message obviously. And it will have variables. You can put variables in there as well, which is handy. Alright. So that's that done. Sandbox app. Alright. So I've looked at those four. And I've just done the sandbox one. Okay. So this create thingy is your main entry point, and this is where you're going to find main. And that logging system, I didn't put it on the screen, but it does have macros in it. So I wrote a few macros for the Amber and the Dev, because otherwise you have to type in all of that rubbish there, which is, you'd have to type that in every time you want to use it. That now converts to Amber error with the brackets instead. Okay, so that's why all these hash defines are here. In the entry point, I've used it. Amber 1, dev info, it's all here. And of course we've got the Amber create application, and then we run it. And after we've run it, or it ends, it deletes the application and returns back to the operating system. And of course, extern is your Amber application. So again, a very simple little bit. Oh right, and we've got amberskies.h is what you include in Sandbox. So that includes the application and the logger, and of course the main entry point. And under common, we've got hash define Windows 32 lean and mean. And also, because we're on Windows, I've included windows.h. And for common things, for each file, I've included the logger, so we can put logging into our files. But that's all there is. Not a lot. It's easy enough. PCH file. That's what they give you. So I'll alter those two as well for you. And of course on the PCH.h, which you have to include at the beginning of every single CPP file, we've just got a few headers, that's about it. And that's basically it. Yeah, adding more to this means he has to recompile all of them, so be warned. Hopefully I won't need all of this lot. And those are all the files. So basically what happens is this main runs. When you create an application. So back in Sandbox, at the bottom, this is what runs the program. So we create an application and return a new sandbox. So who are we returning the new sandbox to? We are returning the new sandbox to the entry point. The create application. Because this command bounces from here to here, and then it looks for the definition, and it finds the definition here. And that's why we can create a new sandbox. And of course it will delete it for us. And our sandbox is a child, no, it's inheriting from application itself. And that gives us the run ability, which we've used. And that's about it, really. That's all there is to it. So all this is an entry point into a static library. So if you run it, the only thing we're going to see is whatever is here. Well, any logs that I've made, and it's on a while loop, so here you go. It has logged as a warning in yellow. We've got it all coloured, and that's what speed logger does. And we've got an info one there which is in green. I think No, I think we should be alright with that. So that's how the logging system works. So we've got two sides. Inside of the static library, we'll be using this one, which says Amber Engine. And inside Sandbox, we'll be using this one, which says Application. Wow, we exited 3 threads. We got our memory back. Wow. Well done, threads. Who says you needed lots of threads? This damn thing gives you tons. How do we stop it? It's in a while loop, isn't it? Bye. So, event systems. How do they work? Or how am I going to make it work? Well, I've already written it. That's the first thing. All we need to do is find out if it works or not. That's going to be interesting. So the application will have an on event, I guess. Sometime, probably, if we're lucky. Which will... This hasn't been written yet, so it will propagate the events through the layers. The window class knows nothing about the application, it just has a callback to the on-event system. And the application creates the window with the callbacks. We get events in from the operating system, mouse, keyboard, webcam. You can have anything you want. And later on maybe we'll add an event queue, but for now, nah. That's a little bit more work than I wanted to do initially. So I started on the internet. Yeah. The good old internety webs. And just type in C++ event system. So in native, not sure what that means. So implementing a simple event system, read through this kind of stuff. So a base event class, a demo event, and of course a dispatcher. So that's all you need. And then you can define your observers using dispatcher, which we'll do a quick test, obviously. Limitations and the code. So this is, I just read through this and just sat down and rewrote it. So shall we have a look, see what I came up with and if it's worth doing. It's worth doing, I know that. What else have we got? Anything else in here that was interesting? So that was that one. So what's this one? Class character, say hello to member functions, blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Ah yes, but you were using templates here. And that's interesting because that allows us to do the event callback slightly differently using a template, and that's damned useful for defining the callback functions. So we can have different callback functions, and there's a callback function. Let there be events, yep. Add listener. Oh, I'm not doing probably listeners. And how to apply it to a game. Room for improvements. Yes, there are. I'm not sure I like the listeners idea. code review, Microsoft Docs. Yay, good old Microsoft Docs. So if you want to do this using the system files, yeah, that's self-explanatory, isn't it? I think I can write something that's more English than that. Accessors, yeah, there's a little bit of stuff here, but you're going to have to decipher it, unfortunately, if you want to use any of that. It's the basics, which I hate, but there we go. Static events, good idea. Virtual events, even better idea. Did they put the... No, they are not using the types. Abstract events. Still not doing it here. Add, remove, raise. Yeah, I can see what they're doing, but yeah, that lot'll work. Alright. That's getting a bit closer. Yeah. Microsoft, why do you always give examples that are hard to follow? Mind you, is mine going to be even any better? So let's see what I've got. Anything else? Never stop on page 1. Oh, a consumable one. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. We've got templates now. Broadcast, yeah. So all of these documents are worth reading through, which is why it's taken me so long to put something together. I'm spending like a week on it. Could be very interesting. So let's see what kind of events we have today. So, luckily, I'm not going to have to type much, am I? So we're going to have a look at the event system and see if we can put it together with some English attached. I think that might be a good idea. So, where shall we start? I suppose we'll start with event system. Let's make an event system. That sounds good to me. What will I need? Header file? CPP file? Probably. Alright. I'm willing to have a go at this. So let's see what I've written, which I probably disagree with, and rewrite as we go, but we'll do it a bit at a time and find out whether we can understand this or not. So is this a tutorial? Probably. So under core, add. Yes, I didn't say, did I? Right, how did I set this up? So amber skies, properties, output directory, intermediate, no, static library, latest installed version for the SDK, platform toolset, whatever they use, 143. C++ language and C language is 17. 2017. That's alright, we can understand that. Nothing in there. I haven't messed about with the pathing this time. It's interesting. Additional includes, we have our source directory and our SPD log include, which is all configurations, and it's the same in Sandbox if I click on there. So source directory, but it's solution directory on the skies, yeah. I'll pop it up on screen for you. So there you go. Project directory source, solution directory amber skies source, so I can access things in here like amberskies.h, which is the only include you need from that line, and solution directory amber skies dependencies SPD log include, so that we can do dev logging on this side of the fence as well as that side of the fence. So it's in two parts. That's okay. Just to give you an idea of how I've set it up. Preprocessors, Amber Platform Windows, which is used in both. Again. Yeah, whatever. So as you can see, this is also in Amber Skies. That is used in common, is it? Yeah. So it's used here so that we include windows.h. I think it's the only place I've used it because it's not Windows specific code. I don't write Windows specific code ever. This C++ should compile on any machine because that'll get thrown out. So, yeah. Wonder what happens when that happens. Who cares? Right. So, yeah, that's the only reason I've got that in. Anything else we've got? Pre-compiled headers, of course, I've got the PCH on there. I don't think it's on Sandbox. No, not using pre-compiled headers, so it's not on Sandbox. Browse, nope, nothing in that lot. Under library, nothing. There's nothing on that one. On Sandbox, it's linker. Input. Nope, that's what Windows gave me. So I haven't done anything with those. Did I add any other preprocessors? No, I didn't. Alright, fair enough. That's roughly about it. Everything else has just been left alone. If it was a DLL, I would do a custom build step. A command line here under build event. Or a custom build step or something. Command line. That would be on Amber Skies, wouldn't it? What do you build events? Yeah, there you go. Post build event. You do an X copy of the DLL if you want to do to copy it over into the correct directory. Because every time you compile this, you'll need to copy the DLL over if you are using DLLs and that kind of thing. Which I'm not. I'm using a static library, so it compiles into Sandbox. For that to happen, you just go to Build, Add, Reference, and tick the box, and Visual Studio does everything else. So if I build, it says 1 succeeded, 0 failed, 1 up to date. So it's actually done 2. There you go, 2 up to date. So they're both up to date. So by building Sandbox, I also build Amber Skies. And it also hooks in the library. But you still have to do the header include path. So events from the operating system go through the callbacks to a non-event. The window knows nothing about the application. The application creates the window. In the future, well, the next project I'll probably be doing on this is layers. So we can put this on event thing in. That'll be interesting. And is there anything else I've got with this? Files event, application key event, mouse event. The key type, yeah, common.h. Alright, I think we'll need to put that in. Oh, good, we're here already. So I want a hash define. I'm going to call it bit. As we're going to do a bit shift. X. And that is just goes to 1 shift X. So X shift to the left by 1 bit. So we're going to do some bitwise operations. Anything else I might need? Just testing notes, so let's start with some files. I don't want all of these files. I only want 1 file. Okay. New item. Will it remember if I do something like that? I will have a header file. And I'm going to call it event system. Give it a big title, because it's going to be a big file. We can have a CPP file. Event system. And because it's a CPP file, I've got to hash include a PC H and hash include event system. I thought I did all the files. Must have missed one. Weird. Yeah, that should do. Namespace. Always give stuff a namespace if it's in a library. I'm using Amber for the namespace. We've got common with our bit shift. And in here, we just hash include common, I suppose. I'll have a namespace. Amber. I think we're ready to go. Make sure I've got empty lines at the end of everything. That looks okay. Date 24th. So yeah, I did this yesterday. Can you tell? Just wrote a few little bits and pieces. As you do. So let's have a look at our event system. So the code that I've written is here. Event.h. Right, so the first thing we've got to look at is the first enum. So what this is an enumerator. There we go. Currently these events will block the system, later will be buffered, as I've mentioned already here, with the buffering thing. For non-blocking, use an event queue. What I mean by blocking is if an event fires off, the program has to handle the event before it can continue. If you introduce the idea of an event queue, then an event queue can be filled up and the program can deal with the events when it wants to. So we have window close, resize, focus, lost focus, moved, app tick, update, render, key pressed, released, typed, mouse button pressed, released, moved, scrolled. So I did have the typed in. No. Thought I'd miss that one. So I've done that. We've done that. That's good news. So I'll be alright, I think. Now, I do intend to use something called GLF. GLFW events. So what do we have under events? We have keyboard, mouse, joystick, time, clipboard, and drop, drag and drop. So we do have all of these ones to do. So we've got poll events, wait events, timeouts, post empty event. Okay, fair enough. Keyboard input. Right, so that's just keys. That does sticky keys. Numlock and stuff like that as well. Oh wow, that might be useful. Text input. Key names. I'll have to deal with that when we get to it, won't we? Because I need to make it non-Windows and non-GLFW. So that'll be interesting. Oh, and if you have any questions on how I did anything, just ask. Cursor creation. Oh yeah, you can change the shape of your cursor. I'm not sure which cursor it means though. Right, current system cursor theme, that means mouse pointer. Right, okay, that's what they mean by it. Scrolling up and down, joysticks, how they work. General input, gamepad. Gamepad mappings. Time, oh yes. Might need that. Clipboard, path drop input. I'm going to ignore that for a minute. Until we've got this first part working, because I've got enough to do as it is. So that's GLFW, which isn't included yet in the project. Just checking to make sure that I can do what I've got on the screen. And we can. We can get those through GLFW eventually. So that's your event type. What we need to do though is classify that into classifications, I suppose. And we can't use an enum class for this next part because we're doing the bit shifting. So let's see what we've got for that. We have an event category. Not too bad. It's only a small one. And the system's going to complain massively probably about this because it's not an enum class. And because we are bit shifting, in other words, bit 0 is the first bit, bit 1 is the second bit, bit 2 is there, bit 3, bit 4. So we're using 4 bytes. Oh no, we're not using 5 bytes. Oops, and all you do is switch them on or off. So they can be 0 or 1. 0 being false, 1 being true. Very simple idea, it's just a flag. Well, that's what they call them, flags. But I'm hoping this is in English. That's not in English. See what I mean? So application tick, application update, application render. So if we want an event-driven system, we fire off updates, and then everything updates that receives that message. We could have application initialize, so that when we start the program, we can fire off an event initialize, and everything that's listening out for initialization would initialize itself. Yeah, you can take it that far. So you don't have to have a big long list of init this, init that, init the other, which is normally what happens at the start of most programs. They do a system initialization. So you could use that. You can use the event system to do a system initialization. Might do that in future. Not sure. So application initialize. System. And application run. No, startup. I'll put run in brackets because that's what it is. So you can actually use that to do something like an initialized system. So it would initialize system-wide. It's an interesting idea. It's not uncommon, I wouldn't think. It's something I might add. So we'll keep that one there. I like that one. So we've got event categories. So categories are application, input, keyboard, mouse, and mouse button. Those are your event categories. And each one of these will go into one or more of the event categories, which is why we're using bitwise. So we can OR them together, so we can have multiple categories very easily. So it's easy to find out which category something belongs to, and the listener for that category, or sorry, you can actually ask what category an event is from, and it will tell you. To do that, we're going to need the next part. A couple of hash defines. Yikes. Let's have a look at these. These are the kind of things that scare people away from C++. Or what we have is this. Two macros. They are. The first one it is converted into 3 commands. Get static type, get the event type, and get the name. Now, static type we're going to come across, but get event time and get name. Well, we're going to name our events. Cool. So that's your event type, which is this one. So your static type is this one. And that just puts the name into inverted commas. And this is why we can't, another reason why we can't use a class for enumeration. on the event category as we have this little baby here, which we're going to look at a bit closer. So let's have a class. Let's see if I want to change anything. There we go. Here's our event class coming right up. So these macros are going to help us out. It just stops us typing out this every time we have a different event. And this one here as well becomes that. And you'll see how this looks in a second. So our event class is class event, friend class, event dispatcher. So we have a friend, public event type, virtual, virtual, virtual. All of these are virtual because they can be overridden. The event class itself is not meant to be used directly. You're supposed to inherit from the event class to a specific event, and that's what we'll be doing. So we've got get event, get name, that's constant star chart, event type, string to string, probably won't be used much unless you're trying to debug what's going on, I guess. Inline bool is in category, event category, obviously. Return get category flags. That's this flagsy things is again, and category. So you and it with whatever the category was that's given in. So you hand in what categories you want all together. This gets the category flags. And anded, that's the category flags there. And, which is the logical Boolean and, with the category that you hand in, that will give you back a true or false. So that's return returns true if in categories asked for. So basically ask for categories here. So this is what you can trace. So allows you to find out if event is in some category. Basically. I think that's a better way of putting it. That's a debugging tool. I'm thinking that half of this is debugging. Most of this would be used for debugging, I guess. There's only the first one, which is what you really want. And that's why that's a constant override. Gotcha. Because it's this one here. And that returns the static type, which is an event type, using the one above it, which turns the event type into something that can be compared. And it's a bit thingy, so it's in bits. Did I put nones in? Yes, I did. Thank God for that. Sometimes I will put at the end something like number of, this would be event types. So that would be the last one. So whatever that is in the list, you could find how many event types there are if you wanted to. This one, not so much. I wouldn't put it in here. But that's a common idea, is putting like the number of whatever the class is to find out how many items are in that class, because that's an enumeration class. So you can actually look up how many items are in there. On this instance, I haven't done it, have I? So we'll leave that out. Alright, I think we're okay with that. Event dispatcher, we're going to need one of those. So that's probably next class. Next class, event dispatcher. It is. Tell me if you prefer it that I pre-write stuff. Microsoft Bing, Jesus. Okay. If you prefer it that I don't type, because I'm very bad at typing. I've been doing it all my life and I'm still bad at it. That doesn't fit on a screen. Does now. So the event dispatcher. This is interesting. This stores an event. That's a storage. So we're actually storing the event here in the dispatcher. This is where the actual event is stored. So there's that. The template here using event function equals standard function bool t and. The bool is whether we want to propagate the event or consume it. If we consume it, it's true. If we don't consume it, it's false. And it can continue on to wherever it wants to go. So we can consume the event. And the T is whatever the function name is. So T is a function name. Is any function name. Like on mouse click or something like that. Any function name. And this event function equals a standard function bool. Bool equals true if we consume the event. I think that's... Does that make sense? I hope it does. It's obvious what that is. That's the address of the event. So we can keep a tab on it. Because the event is given to us by the operating system. So we don't actually have an event. The operating system does. So we just take a reference to it. We don't copy it to our program. There's no point it already exists, so we just take a reference for the memory address of wherever it is. And that's what that's about. So, public event dispatcher, event and event, obviously. And it comes through to that. We quickly stash it away, the reference in there, and that's all we do. That's your constructor. Grab an event. The template here is the expansion of this template here. So bool dispatch. So it's the type name T, event function T function. So again, T is a function, any function name. So it's basically an expansion of this. Bool dispatch, event function. So this is for your dispatchers. So you can dispatch an event from anywhere within your program. So your window could dispatch an event. Your main application could pick up that event, and your window knows nothing about the application. Think about that. So that's how that works. So when I do the window class, it will somewhere have in it dispatch events. For the GLFW events, all of those events will be dispatched as one of the types that we've described up above in those enumerations. So if the event matches whatever event is in the whichever event we're told to match, so one of these, as we're going to see, well, let's see if I've got it in the test. So we could do something like a window resize event. Yeah. That's a bad... This is going to be a very bad test. But I can show the test part of it as well, can't I? Should be okay. We should stop doing that. So we've already got two classes. This is our second class. So event equals, event.handled equals that true and false return. So we check whether it's handled or not using m_event.handled. So m_event must have a .handled someplace. And it's stored there. So false means propagation, true means consume. Do not propagate to the next area. Don't pass it on. The event stops here, type of thing. So if you've got a menu and up and down is W and S for the menu, whilst you're doing that, you don't really want your character or whatever you're playing in game to be moving forwards and backwards at the same time. So you would stop the event at the top layer. I'll go more into layers later. On the top layer, so that it doesn't propagate down to the game. whilst you're using a menu. That kind of thing. So you have your layers in a set order. We'll get to that. So that's why we're doing it. Return true. So if it does, and that happens, return true, otherwise return false. In other words, you don't get your event. So that's how we dispatch events. So we dispatch an event to whatever function. And that means the function can be anywhere in your system. Not bad. I think that's okay, that one. It's not too bad. Very, very simple event dispatcher. In fact, it's very similar to the first one I think I saw. Can't remember if that's what I used. So, yeah, the dispatcher, here we go. So you have a look at the dispatcher part here. You might see, so this is slot type subscribe and post. And it's using a map. I don't want to use a map. Don't need one at this point in time anyway. So no, it wasn't that one that I used. Never mind. I thought it might be. I don't remember these things. I just do the research. So what's after the event dispatcher? Well, this. This is a convenience inline method which we can use to output to the console whatever we find. So I'll pop that here. So return whatever OS stream is, probably STD console, whatever the console thing is. I don't use STD consoles. I use printf usually. So that just overloads the operator so that we can actually put the event or whichever event information out to the console as an overload. Quite easy, really. Was it in the example? Oh no, I'm using Amber Trace, which does it for us. Okay. I'm using speed log, aren't I? So that's all there is to it for an event. And a dispatcher. So those are the two bits you need, in and out. Let's go to our first event, which will be window. I think that'll come under application. Let's find out. So let's have a look. Yeah. Let's do that. So Amber Common and include event.h. I've got common in. and this is event.h. Here we go, IntelliSense. The enumeration type amber entity category is unscoped. Prefer enumeration class over enumeration. But we can't do that. Because it will turn the category into a class. And it's not. It's a number, it's a bit. It's a flag. It's 5 bits on zeros and ones. Technically called a bit field, which you use a bit mask on, or an AND operator, as we've already seen. Cool. So we are up to there, and I need a cup of coffee. Sorry, Poppy, but we need a cup of coffee. And hello to you, my viewers. Thank you for popping by. We're doing an event system. So I'm just going to go and grab a coffee, and I'll be right back. Coffee time, Poppy. And we found cake. I'll just have a quick bio. Okay, so I wonder if this compiles. The first part of our event system. So save. Build. Oh, event system CPP. Yes, yes, we're okay. We are building. Yay. We have a little bit of success at least. Now let's find out what's next on our list. I don't like the spacing on this, because this is going to get very, very large. Possibly. So let's get the spacing done. Okay. Just makes it easier to find out where things begin and end. There. Alrighty. So what's next up? That one. Blue. Next up is the window resize event. So this is our first event. I'm going to do them in order if I can. And you'll start to see something that makes sense, hopefully, now. Alright, that'll do. Bet you're glad I'm not typing this out, it'd take me ages. It did take me ages. Okay. So this is our first event, resize event. If we just check up at the top now. I think it should be the first one, is it? Oh no, window close is the first one. Oh, okay. Alright. Never mind, haven't done them in order. Should have done, really. Well, we'll see if we can put them in order. How about that? That'd be alright, wouldn't it? As we go along with me cake. So, what do we got here? A window resize event. It inherits public event. So anything that is in the public part of the event class can be used by this class. We are going to store the width and height of our window as it resizes. So the window resize event takes in the width and the height. So when we dispatch from our window class the change or resize event for our new width and height, we can pick it up anywhere in the system and use that information, especially in OpenGL, where you have to resize the viewport as well. GL viewport, so that's what that's going to be used for, just as a handy hint. Get width, get height in case we need it, and so actually it'll be whatever event comes, or E, because we usually say event E or whatever, and you just put E and then a little arrow and get width, get height, so you can get the information from the event. Damned useful. ToString is, as you can see, this is using this overloading thing. So it's just putting out window resize event width, comma, height. It's nothing fantastic. It's just a little bit of code to allow us to see what happened if we need to. So if our windows aren't resizing properly, that kind of thing. And of course down here at the bottom we have our event class type, window resize, and the category that it belongs to, which is the event category application. So that is those two defines. So if they weren't there, those lines would look like so that replaces that. Yeah, exactly, with the correct typing, which is window resize. And the name would be whatever name we gave it. So Windows resize would go in here. Event type. Yeah. And this would become probably just a piece of information. Like that. That you can send through for debugging. So that is what that becomes. If you look at it, you can see it. Expands to. Oh, down expands to that. So that's what it expands. That expands to those three lines. And if you hover over it, it tells you all information here. So it tells you that it expands to those three lines. Pretty cute, huh? And that one expands to the other one, which basically get category flags. So that's the get category flags expansion for inline usage for the window resize event, so that you can use those from within your application to get information. Okay. Very straightforward. Nothing stupid. I like that one. I think that was more complex than the basic one, but hey ho. Let's find out what's next. Window close event. If I'm right, this is the smallest. Yeah, it is. And if I'm also right, it comes before that one. Yes, it does. There you go. Isn't that massive? Nothing there. It's just a close event. Nothing special about it. Nothing particularly interesting. And anybody watching out for it. So you from your window class, you would probably dispatch this so that it can be picked up on you, like on window close or something in your application, which I haven't put in yet, but it will be in there once we have a window. Probably. As you can see, it doesn't store anything, doesn't do anything stupid. That is a very, very basic event. It doesn't give any information back or anything. It just says that the window has, well, the window's closing. Please do something like shut down the program. Might help. So the next one we're after, window focus. Some of these are very, very small because you don't really need a lot. Not done. Okay. So I've done those two yet. So there are some more to write by the looks of it. Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? So app tick, app update, and app render. Let's just see which order we put them in. Tick, update, render. They're in the right order. Good. So let's get the U. Again, pretty small. Application. I don't like abbreviations. So as you can see, it's just 3 lines. Exactly the same 3 lines. That's all you need for an event. Well, for some of them anyway. Add macro event class type to new C++ hint file. Why? A hint file contains macros that would otherwise cause regions of code to be skipped by the C++ browsing database parser. When you open a Visual Studio C++ project, the parser analyzes the code in each source file in the project and builds a database with information about every identifier. The IDE uses that information to support code browsing features such as the class view browser and navigation bar. Now, my answer to that is no. It's not part of the C standards. And it's a known problem to me of Visual Studio, that it can't handle macros. So if that's what they've come up with, they're idiots. Why don't they just get your parser to work? Dumbos. I don't know. The reason why it can't parse properly is because there isn't a semicolon at the end. At the end of a macro, you don't need a semicolon. Stupid, isn't it? But, hey-ho. Microsoft rules the earth, so who am I to argue? These are just event category applications, aren't they? Yeah. There's nothing special about these ones. We'll get to some more interesting ones soon. Honest. See how it indents it? Because it thinks it's part of the same thing. I have to keep doing that. It's because there's no semicolon there. It's classic. It absolutely hates me doing this. I've had so many errors off this. It's untrue, and I don't know why. It's because there's no semicolons there. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're doing alright here. I think that's self-explanatory again. The application constructor is default, and we've got 2 macros that fills in all of that garbage that we put into the macros. Nice and easy. What comes after app render event? Nothing. How's about app update event? Did I forget that? Render tick. I did. I missed it completely. There it goes. So it's tick and then render. It's so small I missed it. And again we have to do that. And also I will change that to application. 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 And here comes Poppy. Hello, love. You come to sit on me? Oh, you're right. You come to sit on me, right. She's just had her biscuits. Bless her, the little love. So that's all the application events I've done so far, by the looks of that. Any more? Anything more in here? Nah, that's it, we're dead. So that was application events. What's next? You just write one of these for each event that you want. So after application, we have key pressed, key released, and key typed. These are going to be more interesting than 3 lines. So hopefully I've written them fully. Don't know if I have not. So key event is an event. Okay, so I've got a key event base class. Let's see what this does. So key event inherits from event. Inline get the key code. That's why we need a key event for the key code. And the key code is stored in a protected, not in a private, in a protected. A protected means that anything inherited can probably use this. There's nothing in the private section, that's okay. Inline int, just an inline function to return the key code. Event class category is 2 events. So it's a keyboard event and an input event. So we OR the 2 together because they are bits. It's a bit field. In other words, 0s and 1s lumped together in one piece of memory. And key event int key code stores the key code. And that is the constructor, which is protected. So that nobody can mess with it, we hope. But they probably will. You know what protected things are like. They're not private. Could make it private, I suppose. No, that could be... No, because we can use that as a friend class, can't we? Okay. Again, not a very big thing. That was your key event. So now we have the class. This inherits from key event. Key event is like our main thingy, which inherits from event. This then inherits from the key event. Which inherits from, yeah, multiple inheritance we're getting to, basically. Now, multiple inheritance is frowned upon. I don't care. So we've got multiple inheritance going on with key event. Repeat count, in case we need to know what repeat count happens when we press a key. The key pressed event is public, so you can get a key code and a repeat count. And the key event key code and repeat count. It doesn't do anything, so it does nothing in there. Inline int, get repeat count, obviously, in case anybody wants it, it's a getter. And the toString for debugging, because we may mess up our key codes. Trust me. I'll be programming it, so I'll probably mess up my key codes. So that helps me to do some debugging by sending any kind of result out to the console. Simple, really. And then the event class type is key pressed. Sounds okay. Why don't we have the other macro in? We do. It's here. There. It's inherited. That's in the inherited class. We don't need it again in here because we're inheriting it. So that is already part of this. And so is that. So we only need now to do the event class time, which is key pressed. It's a handy little workaround, I suppose. Nothing overly complicated there. Let's do a key released. And now you're going to notice something. It's the same, except for the repeat count. For a key released, we don't have a key count. So we don't have that, and we don't have that bit, and that bit. So take that, and that out, and what do you get? This. Exactly the same. Same code. Typed key event. GLFW. It's not just GLFW that gives this, it's also inside of something else that I might be using, which is I'm GUI. I might be using. Don't know yet. Okay, you're going to notice something about this. It's got a repeat count. We have to set the repeat count to 0 to give ourselves a typed event, because it doesn't respond to key repeat. So we're setting it to 0 on purpose. We're not storing it. We're just getting the typed event. It's basically a straightforward key event, but it's the same code again. The only thing that we've changed is we're not going to allow it to register any repeat keys. So when you're typing, it doesn't repeat. Or repeat is off. It's very important to do that for depending on where you put your receiving function. The key repeat could be from the operating system, which is key down, short pause, then lots of repeats, as in that. But also on update, if you put it in there, then repeat is instantaneous. And if you're typing, you do not want instantaneous repeats. So that protects it from the instantaneous repeats if it's placed in some place in that kind of area. Depends how you program. It's a safety measure. And that's it. That's all I've got for key events. What's up next? We have next mouse. Pressed, released, moved and scrolled. So we've got mouse. Yes, we've got some mouse events. Good. That helps. So we've gone moved. Scrolled. What on earth? So I've done the last two first. That's because we need a mouse button event. We're going to do it the same way as the keys because there's multiple mouse buttons and you can hold them down. Makes sense. So I think we shall do that first. So we'll need a mouse button event. That's the first thing we're going to need. Now, this is, again, just like the key presses. This is something to be inherited, not used. Look at all the squigglies. And all the little red markers saying, oh, don't do that. There we go, mouse button event. So this is the first part. The event category is mouse or input or mouse button. All three categories. So if you're listening out for any one of those categories, you will be handed this mouse button event. So that covers that, and all this does is record which button was pressed. That's all it does. So we're going to inherit from this, and we've got the button recorded. Again, it's protected. And all we have to do then is decide which button and stuff like that. So let's have a look what happens when we do a press. Mouse button pressed event. I think there's some debug stuff here. So we inherit from mouse button event, which has got our button. So mouse button pressed event, const int button, mouse button event button. Okay, so that's just, we're finding out, or we have the button, and that means we can then use mbutton from here because we've inherited. All that is for is whatever, but all this does is give you the button. And event class type, mouse button pressed. There we go. So all that does is reference the button, so we can use it. So you probably have E or event, and then, well, I'll type it, it's easier, isn't it? So you probably have event and then a button or get button. And you'd have b equals something like that. Possibly. Until I use it, I don't know. But probably, yeah. Next in line. So, yeah, this toString debugging for helping us put into the console in case our mouse doesn't seem to be working. So we can look at and check for errors. Because I don't know what it's going to look like yet, because I haven't got to the window. And then we have press, so it's released next. And you're going to see that it's literally the same. How surprising. So released event inherits from the mouse button event, which inherits from event. Multiple inheritance. We allow, so the constructor gets a button. We can then do things with the button. We can measure it against whatever we want to for switching something on or off within our program. Pretty simple stuff. That was released. That should be the end. So we've now got released, pressed, and the mouse button. Next up is mouse moved and mouse scrolled. Right, there's mouse moved. Let's do you. It's got debug. Here we go. Mouse moved event inherits the event. We are going to store the X position and the Y position for the mouse moved event. Float X, float Y, X and Y. You can get the X, you can get the Y, and you can get a toString for debugging. The event class type is the mouse moved event, and the category is either mouse or input, so we can measure those as well and decide whether it fits into one of those. Whatever, because we don't know what event we're receiving. So again, very simple. Very, very simple. So we'll do the scroll wheel. There we go. On the wheel, we'll have an X and Y offset. X is forwards, Y is backwards. I think it counts it numerically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that kind of thing. It's float though. So I don't know how it's recording it, and I haven't looked. Maybe we should. Which one is it? Mouse. To see. how it records. I don't think we can... No, we can't. That's a to-do. When I've got a window and all the inputs coming in. Can't do it yet because we haven't got anything to fire off the mouse. There we go. Right, I'm happy with that. It's pretty obvious what we're doing now. We're storing the X offset, the Y offset. You can get them. And we're storing it there in the constructor. Yeah, that'll do. So these are just wrappers for events. So the event is like frozen in time when it's fired off. So you don't need to have setters because there aren't any. You just fire off whatever the X and Y is. So these are like wrapper classes for the events themselves. Mouse scrolled event. Was there anything else after scrolling? Moved and scrolled. Released. Yeah. Button. Pressed. Released. Move. Scroll. I think we're finished. Did I see another one in there? No, it's just mouse button event. Oh well. That's the end of that file. We got anything left? Nope. So that's all the events that got done so far. One sec. Close Resize. Do we do window moved? No. We stop at window resize. Okay. That's good to know. Just remind myself to do them. Otherwise they'll never get done, will they? I don't know how useful they're going to be for me at this stage. And these ones here. All right. I'm not sure about that. I like that idea of the application initialization, but it depends on, does this build? Undeclared identifier. No, it's not. App tick. Yes, it is. Sorry. hate abbreviations. I'm glad it remembered to do that for me. Is that all the errors gone? I think so. I should have just looked at the errors, shouldn't I? Yeah. Those are the only application ones we've done. Okay. Oh, what did I do? Something happened there that I don't know. Try that again. Yeah, it's built. Just do a rebuild. Yeah, it's saying everything's okay. Do we believe it? Do we think that events are actually available to us? We've got an events system, or a header file at least. We don't need a CPP file. Can leave its headers. Delete. Yeah, that'll do. Don't need to do anything else, do I? No. So let's try firing off an event. Pop it into application. Before the while loop. Otherwise it'll never get run. Let's see what we got. Is this a test? Oh, God. Thank you. So let's fire off an event. How's about window resize? It's not coming up as anything. Uh, 900 by 500. Oh. And we're just doing amber trace E. So I'd do that kind of thing. Might help if I put it inside something. There we go. We may have to include an event system. That might help. There we go. So what we're going to do is make up a window resize event. Just make it up off the top of our heads and fire it out and see if it happens or not. If it does, then we have an event system. Shall we see what happens? We get errors. Cannot format an argument to make type T formation provided by that. Okay. Can't format it. Why can't Amber Trace format that? What is E? Well, what's E got in it? E dot. Ah. Interesting. Well, I might be able to do something slightly different then. So I'm just going to put event I'm going to take one. Oops. I'll take another bracket, comma space, another bracket, and we'll splatter you off. I think that might do. We'll take a 0, a 1. This is my logging system. I've not used it much, as you can tell. So E dot get name, comma. Is it E dot or is it E? Ooh. Okay, E dot. We haven't asked it to be a pointer. It should have been a reference, that really. Damn it. Get name. Get width. And E dot. See if it's all working. Get height. Just give me the options, which is always good. What's wrong with this? Expected a bracket. It's a macro, isn't it? Nope, found it. Comma. Does he put semicolon at the end or not? Probably not. Right, we're okay. Will that work? It will. Amber Engine event. Window resize 900 by 500. It works. Oh my god. We've got an event system that works. Wow. Does that mean I can do stupid things? Yes, it does. So if let's try E dot is in category. What event category should we choose? Let's choose something that it's not in. So it's so Amber well, I'm inside Amber, aren't I? So I can just do event category. Event category. Colon, colon. And what we got? Application. Well, it's an input. Is it keyboard? No. Amber trace. Info. No, trace. What should we put? The event is in the keyboard category, which we know it's not. Let's go for a different category. Application, input, keyboard, mouse, mouse button. Which one would you choose? Window resize. It's an application, I think. I don't know. Application category. I just want to see how and if this works. It's not a real usage case, but it gives you an idea. And the input category. So if we run this, what's it going to tell us about our E, our window resize event? Well, we've got two results. I know, the event is in the application category. There you go. There you go. It's quite interesting, isn't it? That's how you can use it for debugging more than usage. I mean, one of the obvious usages is for the keyboard. But we haven't got anything installed for keyboards. We've got no codes or anything yet. I haven't even got GLFW yet. So, yeah. It works. So there you go, all in one file. A full event system. It does need expanding, obviously. We should have a look at that, shouldn't we? It's a while true loop, so oh well, use a stop button. But yeah, that works perfectly. I'm quite pleased about that. Right, let's have a look at the to-dos. What do we got? Window focus. Event type. And it comes after which one? Resize. Close resize. No, that's the wrong button. So. Can't do it that way, can I? Got to do it that way. So it's class. Window focus. Event. Colon public. Event. Window focus event doesn't have any variables, does it? We could take in a Boolean. True or false for whether the window has focus or not. Which would be a Boolean, yeah. So just bool. Something like that. Yeah, I think we should record whether the window has focus or not, so we could measure it. That might be a good idea. So public. So I'm making this up as I go along, don't worry. Literally. So it's window has focus. Window focus event. Dumbo. That one. And it's going to be a bool. And that's just window has focus. I would really put it as just focus. I wouldn't put it as window has focus. Don't know. Does that make sense? mean, every time I do things like this, I always say to myself, does that make sense? And you've got to keep asking that. Don't need to do anything about it, do I? No. Bool. Get window focus. Yeah, I think it's the has that's got me here. So window focus, that's better. I can always tell if something makes sense if I accidentally write it, and it makes more sense than what I've just written. Get window focus. It's a const. We don't want them to be able to alter it. Only we can alter it, not them. Anybody who wants to get this window focus can have it, but they can't change it. So return m underscore window focus. That's you done. Do we want to put a toString in? Really, yes. Because that would be a very, very good. I can just copy this, can't I? That goes in there. That goes in there. And that's window focus. That's it. Interesting. Right, so that was window focus event. So we can measure that if we wish to. So I think we've only got one missing now. Oh no. So I've done that one. Window lost focus. Should these two have a shared variable? We can. Let's just write the basics first and see what works and what doesn't. I'm just wondering who should store window focus. Should we store it here? Because if we store it, we need to put it into a separate thing. A storage class or a storage wrapper. A bit like the keys. So you'd have a key event which stores the key code. And then everything else can actually use that key code by using the key event. Just wondering if that would work or not. If you keep them separate and you don't join them together, what do you get? You get two separate window house focuses, don't you? So if you send... I don't think you need two key. I don't think you need two. You just need the one. Because a bool will do two states. House focus and lost focus is just a bool. And you can store it there. And you can record that in your application wherever you like. And take the appropriate action. For example, stop rendering. Which a lot of games don't. When the window goes out of focus, it just carries on rendering as if nothing's going on. But that's window is hidden, isn't it? Minimized or hidden. And then you have window in view. So there's different ways of looking at this. So no, I don't want to, I just want the one. I don't see the reason to split it. Any thoughts, anyone? I might see the reason to split it later on. Interesting thoughts. Ooh. Window focus. i.e. true, false. So it doesn't really make me interested in doing that. I don't know what window moved entails. There'll be an XY component to it. But that would probably have to record whether it's in view or not. Does that stop rendering? And why are you still running? The answer is no, it doesn't stop rendering. That's interesting. So you can actually do quite a lot with these. A lot of interesting things. I'm so interested in doing that. I wonder how it would work out. It wouldn't be application. So I wouldn't put it there. I'll put it there. That's interesting because you don't need much for that, do you? The other thing is, the event system shouldn't be just limited to the application. That should be in common. And that's Amber Skies. Oh, thank you. Why did it wipe it out? Jesus Christ, who invented this system? I don't know. Wipes your information out. Count exceeds 100. Where? Unexpected tokens. Where? core event system .h91. I've made a mistake. Did I miss a comma out somewhere? No. The only thing that I changed was window focus. So why would the event dispatcher want to kick me ass? It's saying 9116. What's it on about? String is not a member of STD. Yes, it is. Since when? Don't you just love it? So I think I've messed up on an event class type. Maybe not. I don't see it. Have we got anything in the 205 area? We've got a semicolon missing. Uh, 114. Alright, we've got this semicolon here on the templates. Dispatch, it's on the dispatcher. That's okay. I'm just wondering if that's interfering. that's a to-do. Do the to-dos properly. Otherwise I get shouted at. Could be it. No. I don't understand. Window focus. What did I do wrong? Just reverse whatever you did. Okay, that's weird. Why has it just suddenly started doing this? I can't see an error on the page. And it's not displaying an error here. Seem to have broken the library. Just by typing that in. Wow. It was this result. Okay. Alright, start at 91. It's telling me that that is not a member of STD. Oh. You're quite right. Well, I never. You are joking me. It's right. It isn't a part of STD. Why is this event system.h not telling me that? That should be red. Don't believe this. Where is that coming from? That's where it is. And there's no include. The PCH is in the CPP files. And it's not picking it up from anywhere else. Which order were they done? Build started. Application log. Yeah. I took away the CPP file. I wish you wouldn't do this. I just wish you wouldn't do this. Bracket. Sandbox, what? Syntax error. Bracket. String is not a member of std function. Yes, I don't think it is either. Let's try it out. Yes, it is. I've got it. No, it's come up. All because the macro says. These are all errors on not a member of STDs. Does that mean I have to have a CPP file for this? Because I'm using precompiled headers. Damned annoying if I do. I might ditch the precompiled headers. They save time, but, well, they're causing a bit of a pain, aren't they? Event system. See, it's included directly before you put it in event system. Very dodgy. Not happy. At least we're testing. No, now I know it's telling fibs. Am I not allowed to put these in here? Oh dear. It might be macro problems. I think we've got a macro problem. It's talking about brackets. That's one line, that's one line, that's one line. That's the only multi-line one I've got. I hope. Huh? Have I left something out of place by accident? Why? Okay. 103 errors. Wow. 50 errors. Just halved them. Function is not a sandbox member of STD. Okay, let's have a look at you then. Function, where does that come from? Probably the function header. Or functional. Precompiled headers. I'm not sure why I'm having to put these in. $25, halved it again. Keep halving it like this and we'll be fine. G-stream. String stream, right, okay. Oh dear. That's you. PCHs aren't working. There you go, that works. Okay. That was interesting. So it's an include ookup. That works. Okay. What have I just done? Window focus event. So it would be window focus event, and we can put true. And get name, don't want that one. true is 1, isn't it? So it would be E dot where's my focus? Get window focus. There it is. Found it. So that should return window focus event colon, so no, event colon, Windows focus event, open brackets, 1, close brackets. And I can't remember which category I put it in, but it's application, I think. Let's see if that works. Okay. So, Amber Engine, event, window focus. Oh, it puts true. Oh, that's nice. Amber Engine, the event is in the application category. That's correct. Wow. Sorry, but wow. That makes sense to me. Right, what else have we got that we can play with? Right, so am I allowed to include PCH here? So if I remove that and delete, it doesn't care. Right, I have to force a re-thingy, don't I? I remember these tricks. What it gets up to. Right, well, we're okay there. Am I allowed to put hash include, and it's PCH, isn't it? Am I allowed to do that? It would seem so. But I don't see how I'd know. Rebuild. Alright. Rebuild. Looks fine. And runs. How strange. I have to put it in here. Well, I didn't know that. I've just learnt something. Yep, works fine. How weird. How very, very weird. So, system initialize. I like the idea of that. I want to put an extra one of these in, really, don't I? How many of these am I allowed? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, I can have another one. And it would be system. And we put you to bit 5. Alright. So, event, dispatcher, OStream. Ow. Oops, I'm in pain. Again. All I want for this is one of these little diddy things. I'm doubting whether I'm allowed to do this. What are we going to call this? System Initialize event. I mean, you can add event after event. You can add any event you want. It could be called System Startup Event. Event type. And category. Alright, let's think about this. Sorry, puppy, you're going to have to move. I'm in a lot of pain. Awake. System startup, system initialize. I think I like startup better. There we go. Event category system. Yep, I think I'll take that. Alrighty, I think we are good. So we've done that one. Alright, I think that's roughly about it from me for today. I'm going to stop there. I'm in a bit of pain right now. So I think I better stop and go and get some painkillers. So I'll catch you later. Take care and have fun.